Alright, what up, y'all? Good morning. I wanted to speak on this Tekashi stuff, man, because my biggest issue with this whole thing, Tekashi69 Snitches and whatever, I guess it came out that he got 24 months, a lot less time than these other dudes. But I'm like, the biggest thing I'm looking at is all these people who they're talking all this shit. People are so offended that Tekashi snitched on these other guys. He ain't snitching on you. But people are just so offended, you know what I mean? And I used to be a part of, not with by the time this Tekashi things happened, but like in the past, I used to be a part of this whole thing. I used to be a part of this, like, if people snitch, is dishonorable, and you like low key, you're just looking at a person a certain way, and you know, you just feel like it's a dishonorable act, and you feel away. But my whole thing is why? So why? It's like, for people, we got people who are offended by other people snitching, and you have never participated in the criminal underworld in your life. You've never been in any of this stuff. You know, you've dabbled here and there with some different stuff, just being a follower or whatever the case. But you've never been a full-blown member of the criminal underworld like the people that he's snitching on. But for some reason, you're so offended. And I know the source of this shit. There's a couple things. Now, for one, a lot of us, you know, for black people, a lot of us grew up, you know, close to the streets, in the streets, so you know some people, whatever the case, right? And but two, and most importantly, this street gangster mentality, mindset, or whatever, it's been so deep, and they've been so allowed to run free in the culture. You know, so they get this loudspeaker with hip hop. Like for me, you're gonna see like the things I'm gonna say in this video, and I can't even come off of it just because the damn I can't. It's hard for me to come off of gangster rap and all these things because I grew up on it, and it's like it's imprinted into my brain. Because when my brain was developing, I was listening to gangster rap. So them having this megaphone to be able to say all this stuff and put these thoughts and these images into your mind has created a bunch of apologists for gangsterism from people who aren't even gangsters at all. They never lived the underground underworld lifestyle, right? So I point that out now. How does that bring us to Tekashi69? So Tekashi69 is in hip hop, black, something we created, right? And more importantly, it's what all our children watch, or what all our children listen to. He's in the hip hop space promoting, yet again, this gangsterism, right? And let me go into why that's an issue, because I talked about why a lot of people are connected to it, and we talk about why it's an issue. You know, some people say, hey, it's okay, you know, the gangster shit happens, but as long as they keep it within themselves, then, you know, we don't mind. Let them keep it within themselves. Let them whatever, they only hurting each other or whatever the case. But it's deeper than that. For one, we all know that like street people don't just hurt themselves. You know, they're classified as community terrorists because that's what happens. And you know, there's always innocent bystanders with this. But the most important thing that you lose to the streets is you lose your children to the streets. When they become these things, when they want to be a gangster because they see in Tekashi, they want to be a prostitute because they listen to Cardi, they want to do all these things, so you lose people to the streets. You know what I mean? That's the most important thing that you need to be looking at. So we should not be supporting this street shit being propagated to the public. And that's why I'm saying I'm happy that Tekashi snitched, because it's a good thing to make that whole situation look bad. It's a good thing that savage niggas that run around shooting people and robbing people go to jail. That's good. You know what I'm saying? That's good. Or at least that they're stopped. And most importantly, them going to jail or being stopped in some type of way. The most important thing is that it's not propagated to our children. That is the most thing. It's not propagated to our children. Because I'll tell you, the underworld is permanent. It's not going away. It's always going to be robbers. It's always going to be prostitutes. It's always going to be some level of pimps. These things are going to exist. The criminal underworld is a permanent layer on the bottom of society. Now, the goal is that you don't want to be there. And no one you know, you don't want them there. It's low living. You don't want to do that. And that's what I'm saying. It's like we got to drop this gangster mentality. You got people who you never been a part of a criminal world, but you offended by Tekashi69. You if these dudes go, you're like rooting for them against the police when neither of these groups care about the collective. Neither of these groups care about you personally, and you're not even in it. We got to get off of this. We got to get off of this because this is the same stuff where you having this mentality where you're like a low-key apologist. You're offending when people snitch. You're like, fuck the police, even though you don't really have no real issue with them. You're saying it as a criminal. You're giving this culture the boost to grow. You're giving this culture the boost to grow, and you're co-signing this for the next generation of people to continue this ghetto gangster mentality bullshit. You got dudes, grown men, working regular jobs, all their life, been doing all this stuff, but you're acting like you're some type of gangster. A lot of dudes, they act like they got some gangster mentality. Like, I don't give a fuck. You smart, fuck with me, I'm gonna do this, such, and the third. It's like, dude, if you've been working a regular job for like years, you have been through some humbling experiences, and you couldn't be a gangster all the way through it. I'm telling you, I know it. We could sit and act all this way, but the way things work, bro, you can't come out here in the regular world without humbling yourself. The only way to have this I don't give a F mentality, can't nobody do nothing to me, any issues, the only way to do that is to live a gangster lifestyle. So people need to stop riding the fence. You're either that or you're not that. And if you're not that, you don't need to be supporting it. So like when people come out and snitch, bro, that's a good thing. People come out, Tekashi69 on TV promoting this garbage to children, and then they snitch and the whole thing gets broken up, and then he looked like he was on top of the world, then he snitches, and then he comes out, and it's an example to all the kids that, hey, these people might snitch, this ain't the way to go. That's a good thing. And we need to get out of this mentality where you're low-key associating yourself with something that you're not. You know what I'm saying? And then, because the last thing on this, it causes, when we associate ourselves with something we're not, with this gangster mentality, it causes people to do dumb shit. Like, it causes you to, like, when one of these people come to you and they approach you with some type of scheme or scam, because you got this gangster mentality and you're leaning toward their viewpoint and how they're living, you'll do something. You'll be like, hey man, I got this thing, all you gotta do is do this scam, and we do this, we're gonna get some money. Because you got this fake gangster mentality, you're gonna do this kind of stuff instead of just staying on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean? Having integrity and sticking to what it is that we need to be doing, So yeah, man, that's really it. I just wanted to all I really wanted to say is I'm happy these dudes snitch. Every time somebody snitches in the streets or whatever the case, we should all be happy. If he ain't snitching on you, you know what I'm saying? So we should all be happy. Because we need to stop promoting this street mentality and all this gangsterism stuff that you're not even living, Shit, and that's really it, man. Peace.